We are Siouxland proud. This is KCAU 9 News at 10.
And good Monday evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Tim Seaman. We now know whose names will be on the ballot next month when North Sioux City establishes a new form of city government. Those names, plus new developments regarding flood recovery there in North Sioux City, all in our top story tonight at 10. Back in December of last year, North Sioux City residents voted on a plan to change the city's form of government. The process of making a change to a commission form of city government has been underway ever since. Tonight, we learned those looking to fill a seat on that new commission, replacing the old alderman type of government in North Sioux City. Now, those positions are listed according to different years of term, beginning with a 4-year term as well as the mayor's position. On the mayor's side of the ballot, Chris Bogenreef and Greg Meyer will be listed. The 4-year commissioner slot is listed as Lynn Hoffman and Cody Benson. Now, the 3-year commissioner term will be filled by either Julie Burhoop or Bob Davis, and the 2-year commissioner candidates are listed as Jessica Jo Strain and Daniel Zerf. Finally, the 5th commission member will serve a 1-year term. Those candidates vying for the slot are including David James Wilch and Vincent Tucker.
You know, when the new commission takes over, one of our number one priorities got to be to establish the working environment at McCook Lake moving forward. Next Monday, we'll draw for the order in which those candidates will appear on the ballot.
Newly added, the election is still set for April 8th. Also on the agenda at tonight's meeting, I should say, this evening in North Sioux City, McCook Lake folks who had homes destroyed during record summer flooding received an update on proposed tax abatement plans for their property. As many as 30 homes were destroyed. Tonight, council members approved that plan.
Because of some of the destruction that was happened out there, some houses, some residents asked for some of their property taxes to be abated because the property tax is based on the value of the property, and some of those houses aren't even there anymore. So they said we went through that abatement process. The city council approved it.
Now, the approved North Sioux City tax abatements will go to the Union County, where they will be implemented in days to come. Meanwhile, construction on that bridge that partially collapsed over the Big Sioux River during that historic flooding in June, construction on that new bridge is now set to start about 24 hours from now. Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railway saying that the first stage of work will be overnight work beginning Tuesday night and running through April. Officials add that they will, quote, minimize impact to the public to the extent possible. BNSF says that they're working around the clock to shorten the project's timeline, which was delayed due to waiting for federal permits. The overnight work is set to resume again during the later phases of construction. The timeframes for those stages have not yet been determined, we're told. Officials say that the replacement bridge is anticipated to be complete sometime in July. Well, the city of Norfolk, Nebraska will have a new city administrator a week from now. Earlier this evening, council members unanimously agreed to approve Mayor Shane Clausen's appointment of Scott Cordes to fill that role. He's set to begin his new job on March the 10th and serve throughout the rest of the mayor's 4-year term. The council also voting to approve an employment agreement that runs through March 9th. Council members also voted to approve the appointment of Fire Chief Tim Raggi as the interim city administrator. Tonight, we've also learned that the last night for Andy Colvin in that role was tonight. Now, he will transition to a strategic development consultant role in Norfolk to help the city as well as Madison County. Concerns over recent budget decisions by the Sioux City City Council brought several people before the council this afternoon. Last month, the City Council voted to reduce the Human Rights Commission's budget by $140,000, or about 40%. On Monday, that decision was questioned repeatedly by the public. Council members pointed to recent tax law changes passed by the Iowa legislature, decreasing the amount of money funneled from the state to cities. According to Councilmember Alex Waters, more than $3 million was cut from that funding pool. But that did not stop those concerns from community members.
This budget cut is not just a line item. It is a direct attack on the most vulnerable members of our community. It sends a clear message that Sioux City does not prioritize human rights and equality.
Cutting the funding for human rights is just, it's irresponsible. These people are going to start getting hit with all sorts of things. And I understand you need to go on, but this is really important.
Now, the vote to cut the Human Rights Commission budget in February was 3-2. Councilmember Alex Waters was one of the 3 yes votes approving that cut. He said today that he is a supporter of the commission, at one point pushing to upgrade a part-time administrative secretary to a full-time position.
I went to bat for the commission. I understand the work that they're doing. But I also understand that budget constraints and things change. The state ripped away $3.3 million this year.
Now, the cities must certify the next fiscal budget by April 30th. In other news from today's meeting, members approved a second reading of an ordinance that will raise garbage rates an average of about 38 cents. The biggest change comes with the 95-gallon tote. That's a 53-cent hike to $18.38. The trial of a Cherokee man accused of killing his 4-month-old son will be moved out of Cherokee County. Court documents indicate a judge has granted a change of venue request for 24-year-old Luis Contreras de Siga. Possibly those locations could include Woodbury County and Kossuth County, as well as in Des Moines or Council Bluffs. Now, Contreras de Siga has waived his right to a speedy trial, and his defense counsel says that they will file a motion to continue the April 1st trial date. Contreras de Siga pleaded not guilty to first-degree murder of that infant. According to court documents, the infant became unresponsive in May of 2024 after Contreras de Siga allegedly shook his son while asking him what he needed. This week is the first funnel week for state lawmakers here in Iowa. The deadline to pass bills out of committee is Friday. If measures are not advanced, they're likely to be dead for the rest of the legislative session. Now, one of the bills that is moving forward is one that would require schools to provide feminine hygiene products for students in the 6th through 12th grade. That measure would outline the requirements for school boards having those products accessible to students without cost in half of the bathrooms in a school building. Now, the money would come from the general fund from the Department of Education from July 1st of this year through June 30th of 2028.
And so they'll run out throughout the day, and then you're left with your option of the toilet paper wad or getting that envelope and going to the nurse. So this helps students' education in the classroom, helps keep them in the classroom more, and helps students particularly who are in need and may not have access to the supplies that they need.
That bill now heads to the full Iowa House Education Committee for its consideration. Big news story coming up, perhaps the way things look in the weather department, as Chief Meteorologist Victor Perez has been following an approaching winter weather system all day.
Yeah, so we'll be seeing a transition from some of the showers we're already seeing right now, Tim. We saw some rain earlier out from the Cherokee camera. Ottawa stayed a little bit drier, but we'll see that conditions are going to be breezy and cloudy overnight, keeping us a little bit warmer as we see that it's settled down. We had earlier some 25-mile-per-hour gusts, with now winds out from the east-southeast at 8 miles per hour. Temps at 51 degrees, though, so wind chills only taking a slight hit as we see a looping radar that shows clouds making their way further east, with a few showers that we saw out by Cherokee that were light. They were developing more robustly closer towards the I-35 corridor in central portions of Iowa out by Mason City, but we'll be keeping an eye on this cold front and that low pressure system moving from Colorado into portions of that would be Missouri, as we'll see or Arkansas, excuse me. As we'll see that these showers continue to make their way further east. As we see that front approaching Siouxland, we'll see some developing showers and storms out to our north along that frontal boundary, as we see a few more showers appearing in southeastern Siouxland. But as that cold front slides across the viewing area, we see a transition from rain to mixture and snow on the back end of it. As we see those temperatures dropping, we start to see more widespread mixed precipitation and snow, especially for some of the eastern portions portions of the viewing area out by Palo Alto, Pocahontas as well, as we'll see that these showers then move out further east with conditions that still will be cloudy, at least for a few hours through the morning on Wednesday before those clouds push further east. And we see clearing conditions later on for Wednesday and calming as well. Winds will really be settling down in the region, as before that we see widespread 40 and 50 mile per hour gusts as we progress through the afternoon on Tuesday. And then through the evening we actually see our strongest gusts reaching up to 65 in some spots, 63 over in Wayne and 60 here in Sioux City. So that has prompted a few wind advisories and high wind warnings as we see that these winds begin to settle down later on through Wednesday morning and continue to decrease through the morning into the afternoon, as we do have high wind warnings out to our south with high wind watches out for our southeast and eastern portions of the viewing area. You'll see encompassing some of our most eastern counties, as we also keep an eye because with those snow showers and the strong winds, we'll be seeing impacts to the visibility with that snow coverage. So that has led to a few winter storm watches, and we'll see winter weather advisories and even a blizzard warning for our most southern county in Siouxland out by Harrison County. And you'll see that the Omaha Metro is also in a blizzard warning. These will begin to go into effect through the early morning hours of, the early afternoon hours of Tuesday and continue into the evening, wrapping up around midnight for the start of the day on Wednesday, as we see snow totals across the region increasing through the afternoon, spreading with most of Siouxland expecting between 1 inch to 2 inches now. And you'll see a heavier band of snow situated to our northeast, closer towards the Highway 75 corridor and Highway 60 as well. So could be seeing big impact to our road travel over the evening, that with those snow totals increasing to 3 to 4 inches in some spots. And we'll really keep an eye on this because this band of snow could move just a few miles, lead to increasing snow totals here in Sioux City. Or if we see our western snow closer towards I-35 move a few miles west, we'll see that Siouxland out to our east could see substantial snowfall with temperatures tonight that are hard to think of snowfall, staying in the 50s still with winds under 10 miles per hour now. And we'll see these winds increasing over the next few hours as we see gusts reaching up to 25 miles per hour and a couple of showers popping up with temps only dropping to the mid 40s. Tomorrow, ahead of that cold front, we do rise into the low 50s with gusts reaching up to 50 and 55 miles per hour as we see the transition from rain showers to a rain snow mixture through the afternoon and then more snow through the evening that could plague the early morning hours of Wednesday. Temperatures will be in the 30s before we rise to the 40s there for Thursday, ahead of our next batch of snow appearing late in the evening into the morning hours of Friday. But Tim, the weekend and next week looks substantially different, but we do have winter weather on its way.